Welcome. In this section, we will be looking at section 12.5. We will be looking at fundamental theorem of calculus, which means if I'm trying to find the integral of a function from a to b, I find the integral of the function and simply subtract the function value of b minus function value of a. What exactly does that mean? Let me go ahead and show this to you. It makes much more sense. So here I'm trying to find the integral of 3 over x. And from 5 to 10, that means I'm trying to find the area under the curve from 5 to 10. To do that, all I have to do is first find the integral. 3 is a constant, comes outside, 1 over x dx, and I'm finding the integral from 5 to 10. So first step, let's go ahead and find the integral. So the integral is going to be ln, absolute value of ln x, right? And now I have to find the function values from 5 to 10. So to find this, first I find the integral and then I'll simply subtract ln 10, ln 5 minus ln 5. That is the function value of 10 minus the function value of 5. So this is 3. I'm going to go ahead and separate this with the big parentheses. So ln absolute value of 10 minus ln absolute value of 5. And I know in logs when I subtract, I simply divide ln 10 over 5, which is, oh, these are absolute values, sorry. 10 over 5, and that is going to be 3 ln absolute value of 2. As simple as that. So you first find your integral and then subtract the b minus a. There you go. Let's go ahead and do one more. Where is it? Okay. So here I'm trying to find the integral. Again, first step is to find the integral. Let's go ahead and find the integral of this. So I have integral, I'm not going to rewrite this one actually. Integral of 2x squared is 2x cubed over 3. Integral of 7 is 7x. And now I have to plug in the function values at 1 and 4. So let me go ahead and do that. So step 1 is I'm finding the integral. And step 2 is I'm plugging in the values and subtracting. So to do this, it is integral. So this is 4. I'm plugging in 4 in place of x. 4 cubed over 3 plus 7 times 4 minus, I'm going to change the color for the lower for 1 here. So it's 2 times 1 cubed over 3 plus 7 times 1. And keep in mind, all of this is in parentheses. If you don't put that, you will make a mistake with your pluses and minuses. And when you plug all of this in, you will go ahead and let's see what I get. This is going to be 4 cubed is 4 times 4, 64 times 2 is, okay, over 3, 7, 4, this is 2, 1, 2 over 3, minus this is 1 cube is 1 plus 21, which is 23 over 3, 212 minus 23, I hope I'm doing this right, 189 over 3, yeah, which is 63. And then that's your final answer, 63. There you go. So Step 1 is to find your integral. Step 2 is plug in the function value, the upper limit, and then subtract the lower limit, and what you get is going to be your definite integral. Now let's go ahead and look at one more. Oh, look what we have here. Our substitutions. So I'm finding the integral of x squared minus 1 5x. I'm going to use substitution method, but if you're used to just finding the integral right away, go ahead and do that. So here, my function, I'm going to say u is equal to x squared minus 1. So my du is 2x. I'm going to replace, I'm going to substitute 0 to 1. You don't have to do all of this. If you know the integral, go ahead and do it, which I'm going to show you after this one. So here I have my u. So x squared minus 1 is u. X squared minus 1 is u. Why did I write that? I don't know. And my du is 2x, but I don't have a 2x here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to multiply and divide by 2. So what's going to happen here is, now I'm going to have integral 0 to 1, 5 times 2x, x squared minus 1 dx. Because I multiplied by 2, I have to divide by 2. And now because that is a constant, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and move this outside. And now as you can see, I have my function u and I have my du times du, but don't forget the 5 over 2. 5 over 2. And now what is the integral of u? It's simple. Integral 5 over 2 comes out. Integral of 2 is u. Oh, this is u to the power 13. That's what I'm thinking. Where did I get the u from? Yeah, this is u to the power 13. So this is integral of u to the power 13 is u to the power 14 over 14. N plus 1 over n plus 1. And now let's go back. What is our u? Our u is nothing but, I'm going to go ahead and resubstitute, which is x squared minus 1 over 14, the whole thing over 14. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug in my values, 0 to 1, 0 to 1. And now all I have to do is, once I find the integral, it is 5 over 2. I'm plugging in the 1 first. So this is 1 squared minus 1 to the power 14 over 14 minus, now I'm plugging in the 0, 0 squared minus 1 to the power 14 over 14. And this whole thing becomes a 0, this becomes a 0, and this becomes 0 minus 1 is 1, 1 to the power 14 is 1, divided by 14 with this negative sign. So this everything becomes 5 over 2 times negative 1 over 14, which is negative 5 over 28. So your integral, your definite integral is negative 5 over 28. Now as promised, let me rewrite this one here. So let me rewrite this one. Integral 0 to 1, 5x, x squared minus 1 to the power 13. I don't do the substitution. It's totally up to you. When I see this is my function and I see that this is the derivative, but the derivative of x squared minus 1 is 2x, so the 2 is missing. So what I do here is I go ahead, let me use a different color, I multiply with the 2 and divide by 2. So all I'm doing is I'm going to rewrite this. This is going to be 5 over 2 integral 0 to 1. So this 5 over 2 comes outside. I'm going to keep this 2x inside. X squared minus 1 to the power 13 dx. And then if I see the function and its integral and its derivative, then I know the integral is simply going to be x squared minus 1 to the power 13 plus 1 over 13 plus 1. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. So you know this is 5 over 2. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the function values there, 14 over 14. And once you have this, you know you will plug in your 1 and your 0 and subtract. You'll get the exact same thing. So you can use substitution method and go ahead and do it. Or if you think, Miss, I know by looking at it I can find the antiderivative, you can go ahead and do that as well. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. Oh, let's take a look. Again, I'm going to do both ways. So here I'm seeing this function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my u is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 10. My du is 2x minus 6. But wait a minute, I don't have this 2x minus 6. Can I simplify my du to 2 times x minus 3. And if you look closely here, I do have an x minus 3. What is missing is the 2. Oh, change the color. Easy. What's missing is the 2. I can plug a 2 on the top. Because I multiplied, I divide. And there you go. And now, when you rewrite this, this is going to be 1 over 2 from 1 to 2. Remember, this whole thing is a u. And the top is du. And I know that integral of 1 over u, half stays. It's ln, absolute value of u, from 1 to 2. There you have it. And now, what do? You bring back your u. This is half ln. This was what? X squared minus 6x plus 10. I'm plugging from 1 to 2. So this is going to be, I'm going to first plug in, the half is a constant, so I'm going to keep that outside. This is ln 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 10 minus ln 1 squared minus 6 times 1 plus 10. So you're going to go ahead and find the function values here. So half times, what do I get? This is 2 squared is 4, 4 minus 12. I think here I'm going to get 12 into negative 2. This is ln 2. And let me cross check. This is negative 12. Negative 12 and 10 is negative 2. 4, yeah, that's good. So this is negative 6 and 1 is 10 and this is 5. Minus, this is absolute value, I'm sorry. This is absolute value of 5. And once you go ahead and plug that in, you will simply get, let me plug it in first before I say something. Where's my Desmos? Yeah, this is ln 2 minus ln 5 divided by 2 is negative 0.4581. And let's go ahead and see what the answer is. Oh, 458. Okay, very good. All right, hope this helps. Again, if this is confusing, rewind, play, but here you have substitution. So I start with the function, find the derivative, the 2 is missing. I add and divide, and once I have it, this is integral 1 over u, which is ln u. Once I find the derivative, I change back my u and then subtract upper limit minus the lower value, and there you have it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. It says, find the average value of the function over the indicated interval. So the interval here is, where's my function? Oh yeah, it's right here. And this is my interval, 1 over 8. And they're also asking me to graph the function and its average. But before we go ahead, let's go to the first page here and see what the average value of the continuous function is. The average value of the continuous function is 1 over the interval upper minus lower, integral b over a, f of x dx. So this is, when I expand this, this is 1 over b minus a. This is times f of b minus f of a. I don't know why they did not write this part, but that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, if you're using a note card, this is what you should be writing it down. Don't leave it halfway here. Now, once I know that's the average, let's go ahead and work this problem out. So here's my problem. Here's the function f of x. So what I'm going to do is integral. What's my interval? 1 to 8. What's my function? Cube root, which is 1/3 dx. What do I have outside? 1 minus 8 minus 1, b minus a, 8 minus 1. Let me write the formula here for you. So the average, I'm going to use this color. So the average is 1 over b minus a integral a to b f of x dx, which is 1 over b minus a f of b minus f of a. I'm going to squeeze this into the parentheses. Okay, so 1 over 8 minus 1 is 1 over 7. And again, the integral of x to the power 1/3 is x to the power 1/3 plus 1 over 1/3 plus 1. And then my interval is 1 to 8. So this is going to be, actually I'm going to move all of this to the other side so it's not too confusing. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to move it to the side. There you go. So this is going to be 1 over 7. I'm going to put my interval 1 to 8. This is x to the power 1/3 plus 1 is 4 over 3 divided by 4 over 3. I can rewrite this as 1 over 7. I'm still going to stick in the interval there, 3 over 4 times x to the power 4 over 3. And now, once I simplified it, I'm going to plug in my 8 and 1. And this is going to be 1 over 7, 3 over 4. 3 over 4 is also common, so I'm going to take that out. This is going to be 8 to the power 4 over 3 minus 1 to the power 4 over 3. 8 to the power 4 over 3 is 16 minus 1 is 15. So 7 times 3 over 4 times 15, which is, I cannot multiply that, 1.607. And there you have it. Again, same thing. You first have to find your integral, and then I simplified it. You can use your calculator for this one. And then I plug in my 8 and 1 and subtract, and then I get my average. Average. Now the next part, they ask us to graph. Now let's go ahead and be smart here. What's my average? 1.607. So my y value is 1.607. This one is my x value, so not this. This is again my x value, not this. And look here, this is 1 point. That means it has to be greater than 1, not less than 1. So definitely not this. The only option here which is greater than or in between 1 is this. So just by looking at the numbers also, you can go ahead and find what is your graph. So this is not my answer because that's x value. Let me redo this one more time. This is my x value, so that's not my answer. Again, this is an x value, that's not my answer. Here, this could be my answer, but here my average is 1.607, and here it's less than 1, so this is not my option. So my only option here is this, okay? All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the last problem. The cost of manufacturing X auto body frames is, this is the cost. CX is equal to 70,000 plus 500. They're asking me to find the average cost per unit if 500 frames are produced. And again, the hint is, recall CX, which is C of X, oh, too many parentheses, which is C of X over X. And they're asking me to find the average value of the cost function over the interval. That means I'm going to use the formula 1 over b minus a integral a to b f of x dx. And then they're asking me, hey, distinguish between both of this. All right, let's go ahead and do it step by step. So first is finding the function using the function. I'm just putting too many parentheses here. Average is the cost function divided by x. What was the cost function? The cost function was 70,000 plus 500x. So this is 70,000 plus 500x divided by x. Okay, and what did they tell me? They said find the average cost if 500 frames are produced, and this is, the x value is 500. So let's go ahead and plug that in there. 70,000 plus 500 times 500 divided by 500 would give me, I plug this in, which is $640. Okay, so that means the average cost per unit, if 500 units are produced. So keep in mind, this is the cost of one unit if you produce 500 units, which is 640. Now, let's go ahead and do part B. What are they asking me for part B? They said find the average value of the cost function over the interval. So they're asking me find the average value, the cost function over the interval 0 to 500, which is 70,000 plus 500x. And remember, it is 1 minus 500 minus 0. The b minus a. Your b is 500, your a is 0. And now that's equal to, this is simply 1 over 500. Integral of 70,000 is 70,000x plus integral of 500x is 500x squared over 2. So here I'm going to simplify 500 over 2, which is 250. So I'm going to erase this and I'm going to rewrite this as 250. Okay, again, quickly what happened? It's 500 over 2. 500 over 2 is nothing but 250. Okay, all right. And now what are my limits? 0 to 500. So let's go ahead and plug that in there. So this is 1 over 500, 70,000 times 500 plus 250 times 500 squared minus, I don't have to plug in a 0 because when I plug in, everything becomes a big fat 0. So this is minus 0. And when I plug this whole thing into the calculator, I get 195K. So let's quickly go ahead and recap. So when I use the average, when I use the average cost per unit, I get 640. Okay, so my C bar of X, I just can't write this. My C bar of X is $640. And when I use the average function using the integrals, I get 195,000. Now what they're asking me is, what's the difference? Keep in mind, the first one, you are trying to find the cost of one unit when you produce 500 units. Now this is the total cost of the production when you increase your cost from zero, when you increase your production from 0 to 500 units. So this is the sum of all the cost, the total cost. This is your total cost. Remember, integral is simply adding all those rectangles. So it's adding all those costs up to 500 units, which is 195K. And this is just the cost of one unit if you produce 500 units. Hope this helps.